Gambling, an ancient activity woven into the fabric of human civilization, has long been cloaked in a fantastical allure, seen by many as a mysterious path to rapid wealth and overnight transformation of fate. Cinematic portrayals and folklore about gambling gods or betting saints further amplify this fantasy, stirring countless hearts toward the enigmatic thrill of the card table, roulette wheel, or glowing screen. Yet, when we strip away the fictional veneer and return to the cold, hard reality, countless harrowing cases deliver a gut-wrenching truth. This so-called shortcut to riches often leads to a bottomless abyss, hiding a devastating cost that traps people in debt, shatters families, collapses careers, and even drives some to their end. While society often slaps labels like morally bankrupt, lazy, or shady on those addicted to gambling, our years of in-depth observation and case studies reveal a sobering fact. Gambling's victims aren't confined to one social stratum. They include societal elites, business titans, and respected industry leaders who, through a single encounter or an ignited inner flaw, suffer its catastrophic consequences. Many gamblers seeking professional help appear unremarkable in daily life. Competent employees, kind neighbors, even family pillars. But once they cross that invisible threshold into the surreal world of gambling, a rapid, uncontrollable collapse unfolds with staggering speed and finality. To truly grasp why they sink deeper into this quagmire, unable to turn back, we can't just focus on the dollars lost. Money is merely the outcome, not the root. We must act like psychological detectives, diving into their thought patterns, mental frameworks, and emotional needs. From extensive case interviews and deep conversations, we've identified a clear pattern. Those who struggle most on the path to quitting, who relapse most easily, share 5 distinct, stubborn traits. Crucially, these traits don't exist in isolation. They intertwine like a chemical reaction, amplifying each other to weave an inescapable web, forming a relentless downward spiral. First, an almost pathological, deeply ingrained reliance on luck forms the cornerstone of many gamblers' inner worlds. This isn't the casual hope for good fortune most people occasionally feel. For them, it's evolved into a powerful belief system, a mental opioid to counter harsh realities. Despite crushing losses, drained savings, and eroded trust from loved ones, when a new betting chance arises, they convince themselves with alarming speed, "This time will be different. I can feel it," or "My luck's turning. Just a few more bets, and I'll win it all back." This near-obsessive faith stems from a cognitive bias called the hot hand fallacy, where they misread short streaks of random success as a sustainable trend, believing their luck will keep flowing. Even more common is an addiction to the near-miss effect. When a slot machine's symbols fall just one short of a jackpot, or a poker hand misses a royal flush by a single card, the brain's response is nearly as intense as an actual win, flooding the reward center with dopamine. This deceptive mechanism doesn't discourage them but fuels their urge to keep betting, as the brain misinterprets it as so close to winning, not a clear loss. This blinds them to rational reflection on past devastations, leaving them stubbornly convinced that one perfect moment will flip their life around. They ignore basic probability principles, dismissing the law of large numbers, seeing themselves as chosen to defy the odds. This luck-driven mindset is a thick blindfold, hiding the truth of casinos and online platforms built on precise mathematical models ensuring the house always wins, rendering them deaf to the logical pleas of family and friends. Second, an insatiable, all-consuming greed acts as the internal engine driving gamblers toward ruin. Gambling's magnetic pull lies in its ability to conjure fantasies of instant wealth and exponential riches. Many who earn stable, even lucrative, incomes from their careers find conventional, linear rewards dull and slow after tasting the table's high-stakes thrill, where a single bet can decide fortunes or double wealth in minutes. We've observed successful professionals with stellar reputations and comfortable lives fall into gambling's grip, chasing faster, grander, more dramatic wealth to satisfy an ever-expanding inner craving for validation. Once ignited, this desire burns through the caution, reason, and judgment that fueled their success. They tap into company reserves, take out high-interest loans, or mortgage homes for bigger bets, chasing an illusory, loftier goal. This isn't a lack of rational thought, but a moment where the hunger to win big and solve everything overrides all risk assessment. When losses pile up, greed doesn't fade. It morphs into a desperate, destructive urge to win back. This shift is lethal, turning gambling from speculation into a reckless battle, with stakes growing larger and methods more extreme. This black hole-like material obsession pulls them further off course, stripping away their ability to turn back. Third, a profound lack of self-control is the direct cause of their collapse under temptation's weight. This goes beyond mere weak willpower. Most gamblers, when clear-headed, know gambling is a 9 out of 10 lose trap and can even warn others. But when a bet beckons or a trigger, like a gambling ad, a friend's invite or idle time, appears, an impulsive fire ignites, drowning out reason. This stems from deeper roots. Some never learned to delay gratification in childhood, craving instant rewards. Others lack disciplined systems, their actions swayed by emotional tides. The intense physical and psychological rush of gambling, racing heart, adrenaline spikes, dopamine surges, electrifies their impulses, hijacking the brain's prefrontal cortex, which governs decision-making and impulse control. In counseling, some admit they foresaw likely or certain ruin before betting, but that flicker of reason crumbles against the flurry of chips and flashing screens. Once the game begins, emotions are tethered to wins or losses, losing all sense of proportion, betting more to recover losses, only to lose more in a classic chasing losses spiral. This isn't just behavioral chaos, but a cognitive tunnel vision, where the game's outcome eclipses everything: family, duties, future. This explains their tragic cycle: tearful remorse, sworn promises, then relapse at the next chance. Fourth, a powerful impulse to escape reality often serves as a hidden, forceful driver of their addiction. Modern society's fierce competition, crushing work stress, tangled relationships, unresolved family conflicts, and deep self-doubt or existential anxiety create a perfect storm, making gambling a seductive temporary haven. For many, addiction doesn't start with a lust for money, but from discovering, amid life's setbacks or emotional blows, that betting offers brief, self-numbing relief. In the tension and thrill of each wager, the roller coaster of wins and losses, their focus narrows, momentarily blotting out real-world pain, worries, and responsibilities. This escape from reality is dangerously alluring for someone wrestling with distress. Over time, they develop a deep psychological attachment to gambling. Whenever life's unresolved issues or new pressures arise, they instinctively retreat to this safe mental cave for solace. But this doesn't solve problems. It compounds them, as money losses, wasted time, and mounting lies breed financial and relational crises, piling on heavier, more complex stress. When new conflicts crash in, they turn back to the table as their only numbing refuge, trapped in an endless loop. Many in counseling confess fears of career failure, marital collapse, or crippling self-doubt, but lack the courage or tools to face these head-on. Gambling offers a false, fleeting solution, fostering a deeper psychological dependency than mere money chasing. Fifth, a web of severe, stubborn cognitive biases provides a seemingly rational internal justification for their irrational actions, making quitting extraordinarily hard. Gambling is a highly random game built on precise mathematical probabilities, with the house always holding a long-term edge via the house edge. Yet, overconfident gamblers fall into cognitive traps, attributing rare wins to their skill, strategy, or gut instinct, while dismissing massive, inevitable losses as bad luck or external interference. This skewed reasoning ignores stark data, like the casino's fixed win rate, high rake fees, or potential black box manipulations in online platforms. They believe tricks, card counting, or secret formulas can predict or shift outcomes, a delusion of control that makes them miss critical moments to stop, viewing each bet as a test of skill and grit. In deep talks, some passionately discuss probability, betting systems, or mindset tweaks, as if mastering mystic rules could snatch victory from the house's iron grip. Unbeknownst to them, the game's design, odds, and psychological lures form an immovable barrier no individual can overcome. These entrenched biases act as a fortress, blocking external reason and warnings, binding them in cycles of hubris and fantasy, with relapses and bets escalating. These 5 traits aren't isolated. In most chronic gamblers, they interweave complexly, forming a self-reinforcing vicious cycle. Greed fuels wishful thinking, inflating unrealistic hopes of winning. Lack of self-control and escapist impulses drive them to stay in the game despite losses, when they should quit. Cognitive biases provide a self-justifying theory to sustain their mental coherence after crushing defeats, priming them for the next relapse. They're like prisoners bound by these 5 chains, deaf to warnings of the cliff ahead, even as loved ones empty their savings to clear debts, only for gamblers to see it as betting capital, leading to worse financial ruin or family rifts. Helping these individuals requires far more than lectures or financial bailouts. It demands a complex, systemic intervention. Professional rehab centers don't view them as moral failures, but as battling a multifaceted disease involving psychological, behavioral, and physiological shifts, needing multi-pronged action. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is a core tool, systematically correcting biases by challenging irrational thoughts like, "I'll win next time," or "I control the game," using reality checks and logic to expose their absurdity. To counter luck-driven hopes and greed, structured, realistic goal setting helps them rediscover fulfillment in steady, grounded progress, not all-in fantasies. For those lacking self-control, behavioral tools are vital. Strict financial oversight by family, limiting access to gambling tools like phones or computers, and mindfulness practices to boost impulse awareness. For escape-driven gamblers, interventions must address their family or social dynamics, identifying and tackling true stress sources while fostering healthier coping mechanisms like exercise, meditation, communication, or career counseling. Many who've quit reflect on their dark days, noting how luck, greed, impulsivity, escapism, and probability misjudgments trapped them in a fantasy bubble detached from reality. Only after crashing hard, admitting no bet could reverse their fate and seeing gambling as a deepening black hole, did genuine remorse and change take root. But this hitting rock bottom often involves repeated failures and steep costs. Job loss, bankruptcy, broken families, or jail. Thus, rehab requires not just external constraints and professional guidance, but creating conditions for them to face gambling's irreversible toll, sparking the vital inner drive to change. In sum, those with intense wishful thinking, insatiable greed, poor self-control, escapist impulses, and severe cognitive biases are profoundly vulnerable to gambling, making their recovery arduous. But with external support, a willingness to shatter illusions of quick riches or lucky turnarounds, and persistent professional or family backing, they can rebuild their cognition, habits, and lives to escape this trap. The battle demands synchronized efforts across psychological, behavioral, cognitive, familial, and social fronts to counter the inertia pulling them back to the abyss. If you or a loved one show these traits or are already mired in gambling, know this isn't a willpower issue alone. Seeking professional help early and building a comprehensive recovery plan is the only wise path to break free and reclaim a healthy, peaceful life. Gambling is never a shortcut to wealth. It mercilessly devours one promising life after another in its illusory game of wins and losses.